Como esta? My name is Edward. Thank you for paying attention to another edition of the Jack Fellas. Guys, this next one is actually something that was published in the U.S. The St. Louis Post. Maybe like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, there was an attack on a bus between students on Bellevue West. Now, September 23rd, this article was printed. Let's say white supremacists want to call this attack a hate crime. Now, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I am actually supporting this opinion. Now, I am not a white supremacist, and nor do I support their ideas of hate. I'm just saying, on this particular view, I agree with them. I believe the attack should be filed as a hate crime. Now, there are African Americans out there, and there are Mexicans out there, Asians out there, who will be looking at this and say, that's fucked up. No, you cannot have it one way and not have it the other. If a black man gets hit by a white guy, you call it a hate crime. But if the black man hits the white guy, what do you call it? You call it a hate crime. Why? Because you cannot say, me, as a Mexican, hitting a white guy isn't a hate crime at all. But if a white guy hits a Mexican, you can call it a hate crime. You gotta have it both ways or none at all. Those attacks were done by two black kids on one white kid, who they were bullying, and not allowing him to sit on a bus, a public school bus. And they beat the shit out of that motherfucker. I saw a picture of it online. But you know what? Now, on these particular neo-Nazi and white supremacist websites, they're saying we should protest at the courthouse because of what happened. Now, I am all for this. I'm all for their protesting. I really am. Because like I always say, it's all about freedom of speech. Now, if people are saying it's not a hate crime, why? Is it okay for other races to beat up and hate on white people because of some crime that they committed 200 years ago? Some of you might be getting up and saying, well, they made black people slaves. First of all, you motherfuckers have never been slaves. Okay? First of all you motherfuckers that stand up and say, you know what, they made our ancestors slaves. First of all, you weren't slaves. Your ancestors were slaves. At using that same logic, Jewish people could say they could hate German people forever because their people were exterminated. 6 million Jews got killed. Well, shit on me. That's a fucking hate crime. Now, like I said, it's a double standard. Now, I believe that what these guys are saying is completely true. If two black kids beat on a white kid, call it a hate crime. Because if it had been two white kids beating up on one black kid, I know, the Reverend Al Sharpton and his dumbass, even though he should be fucking, his reverendship or whatever the fuck they call it, should be revoked for all the crap he's caused, will be up in arms and saying, this is a hate crime, and we need to send these fuckers to jail. I don't care if they're only 14 years old, they should go to jail for the rest of their lives and give those fuckers a chair. And you know it's true. And you know it's true. I'm not feeding you any bullshit. I'm just telling you the truth. Because what I think and what I know is just following the lines of what everybody else is saying. Only I'm using logic when it comes out of my mouth. Black people cannot stand up and call it a hate crime if white people can't do the same. Now, I believe these white supremacists have the wrong idea with hate. But when it comes to that beating on the school bus, I think they're completely right. I think it probably was a hate crime. You know what? And I support what they're doing, having a protest at the courthouse. And a lot of people are saying, probably thinking, this is wrong. No, it's about freedoms. They have the right to say whatever they want just as much as you do. I do not support their message, but I support this idea. Ladies and gentlemen, I've gotten several hate messages because I said on that particular video about that attack on the school bus that I thought it was race related. I made the mention of it. I didn't specify and say specifically I thought it was race related. I just said it could have been race related. And you know what? These guys are saying that what they think is that it is race related. And we'll never know. because these kids aren't talking. But you know what? Prosecutors say they have no evidence that it's a hate crime. That's bullshit. If it had been a black kid, I know they would have been calling it a hate crime. But then again, that's probably the issue that people should be looking at nowadays. That if, you know, a white kid was assaulted by two black guys and it's not a hate crime, it's just assault. But if one black kid had been assaulted by two white kids, I know they would have called it a hate crime. I know. Because this idea of the hate crime is actually gotten out of hand. White supremacists killing black people is a hate crime. A white guy slapping the shit out of a black guy because he thought he was stealing from him or robbing him is another issue. Or a Mexican beating the shit out of a Korean because the guy was trying to jack his car. It's not a hate crime. It's not. It's not a hate crime. People, we need to get this shit straight. Because if a lot of you are saying it's okay for white people to get the shit kicked out of them, you obviously are a fucking retard. Yes, I'm gonna say it like the dude in the Hangover set. You are a retard. And I feel retarded because I fucked that up. Ladies and gentlemen, man, don't forget, it's all about freedom of speech. And even though you might hate it, white supremacists have their rights too. But guys, don't forget, if you don't use those rights, somebody just might take them away. Think about everything I've said. Is it everybody against white guys and it's okay? Or is it everybody hating on everybody just the same? You never know. Think about it. Peace.